I'll take you through the basics of the Xerox Workcenter 59 and 78 series. They're very similar. The 59 is black and white, the 78 is color. We'll start with an overview of the device, so how to load the feeder and paper trays, change supplies, clear jams, followed by how to navigate the control panel and functions. So copy, scan, fax, and the address book. So feel free to skip ahead, but let's get to it. The document feeder holds 130 sheets. You'll load originals face up in that feeder, or if you choose to use the glass, you'll load the paper face down on the back left corner. We'll skip past the control panel to go to the trays. You'll have 5 trays. You see the 4 up front, and then you'll have a manual feed on the left-hand side. Trays 3 and 4 only hold 8.5 by 11. And then trays 1 and 2 hold larger paper. When you're filling it up, just make sure you don't fill it up past the max line. If you need to change the size, simply squeeze those green guides so that you can move the guides in and out. Just make sure that they're flush once it's next to the paper. Whenever you open and close a tray, it'll ask you to confirm the size and type. These settings make sure the device then treats the paper correctly using the right speed, heat, and electricity. So just open the type menu, just tell it what type of paper it is, labels, pre-printed, so on and so forth. Usually you'll just keep it on plain and then confirm. Moving on to toner, I'll show you the black and white or the 59 series first. Toner's inside the front door, drums to the left. To take out the toner, simply move that little latch there and simply slide that toner out. You want to be careful, it's a little dirty. So just grab the new one, slide it in, and then lock it back up like so. To take out the drum, you can unlock it, but you'll notice here it can't be removed until we open the left-hand door. So on the black and white device, you'll open the left-hand door and then simply slide it out. See how easy that is? So you'll grab it, take it out, grab the new one, unwrap it, slide it right back in, and then lock it up. Close that left-hand door, and then you'll close the front door. To change the toner for the color device or the 78 series, you'll open the front door. Toner's along the top there. The screen will tell you which one to change. So just grab the toner, gently pull it out, grab the new one, take it out of its box, and push it in. I'll show you the magenta so you can see that it can get a little dirty, so you don't want to yank it out too hard, but still pretty easy. Next consumable is your waste container. That's on the bottom right. You'll just take that out once it tells you to. That toner will eventually fill up, so you'll discard of that container, get the new one, just slide it back in. And finally, your drums. So you will unlatch this so that you can reach those 4 drums. Each toner has one. Simply pull it out. Pretty easy, right? I'll show you again. Grab the new one, unwrap it, slide it in, and then just lock it up like so. Close the door. Jam clearance typically begins on the left-hand side, no matter if you've got the black and white or color device. I'm going to open up the left-hand door here to show you anything that's marked with a green label. You can go ahead and touch, move. Typically the jam's going to start near the fuser. That's that black part. Paper comes out pretty easily there. If when you're putting the originals in, it gets stuck up top, you can just lift that up. And then also on the underbelly there, you see that you can open that up too. Just reference the touchscreen. It'll diagram where you need to go. The best way to prevent jams is to combat the environmental effect of static and humidity. So if you simply fan the paper before loading it in a tray, the sheets will have less of a reason to stick together or get stuck. You see the control panel and screen here. To get to your functions, you're going to press the silver Services Home button on the top left. You can press Job Status to see past and current jobs, and Machine Status to see faults and supplies. As we move to the right, you're going to see your number pad. You'll use the big green start button to start your jobs. Stop is to the right of that, and then there's Clear All, which will clear your settings. To make a copy from the Services home screen, you'll press the Copy button. Here you'll see the main menu. In the Copy tab, you'll have Reduce and Large, Paper Supply, your one-sided and two-sided options. We'll pause here. The number on the left is the number of sides on the originals, and the number on the right is the number of sides that you want on the copies. If you move all the way to the right, you're going to see your finishing options. If you have a stapler on yours, that's where you'll see it. The only difference between the black and white and the color model is that there's going to be color options on the left-hand side. So you'll select auto detect for color. So to make a basic copy, you really don't have to do much. Just press copy, load your originals in the feeder face up, and then as long as it's a normal size piece of paper, you just have to press start. It'll automatically understand what tray to go to. Now, if it's an odd size piece of paper, smaller or larger than whatever might be in the tray, best course of action, biggest tip I can give you here is simply select a tray that has 8.5 by 11 paper in it before you press start. What that'll do is it'll tell it, look, I know it's a weird size, but I'm going to have it go to 8.5 by 11 paper anyway. So those are the basics. You have other tabs. For instance, image quality is where you can go to lighten and darken settings. You have edge erase settings where you can clean up margins. You have a whole bunch of other settings, but candidly, you're mainly going to stick with the main menu. To scan to email, from the services home screen, you'll press the email button. Now you can manually enter a recipient, or you can use the device address book. Here we've just got one listed, but you'll have more. You'll press that name, press 2, and then right from there you can either press start or you can press OK up top right to then access other settings. So you've got two-sided scanning settings, the attachment name. You can also change the subject. I'll press it so you can see the keyboard that appears. You can type, press OK. The whole point is load the original, add a recipient, and then press the start button. I want to show you how to scan multiple sets of originals individually, but then have them combined into one file. So first press the Job Assembly tab at the top right, then press Build Job and turn it on. Now you'll load your first set of originals and then press the Start button. The device will then scan those first originals there, but it won't send the scan yet. So then you just load your next set of originals, press Start again, and repeat, right? You can load it in the feeder, you can load it on the glass, but basically just keep loading and pressing Start until you're all done. After the last set of originals is scanned, you'll press Submit Job on the top right, and then all the scans will combine into one file. To send a fax, from the Services home screen, you'll press the green fax button. You'll press Enter Recipient on the left, and then this is where you can type in the number. You can either use the number pad on the screen or on the control panel, but then press Add, and then the Start button. You can also select names from the address book. So in the device address book button, you'll have names listed. You select them and then press start. The easiest way to save fax numbers and email addresses into the device is through its web interface. You access that by typing its IP address into a web browser, and then you'll click up top here, the address book. Now it'll make you log in. The default user ID is admin. Default password is 1111. And here you'll see the address book menus. There's a big manually add a contact button right here that we can press. There's also add, edit, and delete up top. You can press any of these to be able to add a contact. I'm going to use the little guy up top left. And here you'll see the fields that you can enter. So you're going to use the same address book for both email and fax numbers. So first, let's put in our recipient's display name. For this example, we're going to include an email and a fax, but you can include one or the other. So here's the email, and here's their fax number. If your fax line requires a prefix like 9 or a 1 to dial out, you want to make sure that you put that number in here. But this is it. So name is in the display name field, email's in the email field, fax is obviously in the fax field. You can either add another contact after saving. You can click this button down in the bottom left, or simply press save, and then it'll instantly show up on the Xerox device's control panel for folks to use. It'll be helpful to save this website as a favorite in your internet browser. You can also create a shortcut on your desktop if you prefer that. You'll right click on an empty area, select new, and then shortcut from the menu. Here you'll just copy and paste the web address like so. Click next, and then you just type a name for the shortcut like Xerox address book, and then finish. So that'll create a little icon, a shortcut there. So when you click that icon, you'll be able to jump right back into the address book, and you can add and edit your recipients.